make some painful decisions that affect the lives of everyday Texans. We know that our decisions have serious consequences and that there is a human face behind each of these difficult decisions. We are all experiencing hard times, and we comprehend the serious financial situation we are confronting. Instead of assuming that each agency should get what it got last year, we forced them to take a hard look at their budgets. It was because we went through this painful process that we found needed savings in order to balance our current budget and pay our bills. Finally, I want to highlight and reinforce a point that will be subject of great debate today. Republicans are strongly supportive of education. In fact, we are making and have always made, as you can see by the chart, it a huge priority in the budget prioritization. Let me just say that as a result of what happened on the House floor yesterday, today there is an additional $2 billion available in public education that will be going into the HB1. The fact is evidenced by the chart beside me. As you can see, we are spending 56% of the state's general revenue on education. The share of the pie is the same, but the pie has gotten smaller due to this year's economic downturn. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our caucus chair, Larry Taylor.
Thank you, John. And I must say, I was late this morning. I got a call from Comptroller Combs. She's found an additional $5 million for a revenue estimate. Yes, on April the 1st, she called me. Sorry. As Republicans, we take our obligations seriously. We owe it to future generations of Texans to make the tough decisions today in order to protect the Texas of tomorrow. It may be a form of tough love, but it is the truth. It's easy for our Democratic colleagues who want to spend money we don't have and support taxes we can't afford. But we know that short-term, feel-good, share-the-wealth approaches to solving our problems by the Democrats are a recipe for disaster. As conservatives, we believe government spending has grown significantly, and we must reduce the size and scope of state government. We know that government must live within its means, just like our families all across Texas do. We realize that government cannot be the solution to all of our problems. And we understand that investment in the private sector is the best way to ensure economic growth and vitality for our state. We are renewing our commitment to oppose any new taxes, and on this point, we are united. There will be numerous attempts to portray Republicans as heartless, without compassion, and cruel. But the reality is that we have the courage and conviction to tell the taxpayers the truth. We have the responsibility to be honest with our constituents. We don't have the luxury to pander to every constituency as some would do. We have an obligation to balance our budget and provide true leadership for Texas. The ultimate form of compassion is honesty and truthfulness. In conclusion, I ran across a quote recently from an unknown author that best sums up the situation we're facing. The quote goes like this: "A bend in the road is not an end to the road unless you fail to make the turn." Today, we begin the process of making a turn for the state on this difficult road we find ourselves on. I'd like to remind everyone that this is the beginning of a process, and the music plays in the background as I finish the conclusion of this speech. Today's action is not the final action on the budget. We have a process we're still going through. I think it's important that the members of the media keep this in perspective, that we are in the process. The budget will lay out today. There are a number of bills in the process that will be helpful to our constituents back home. We have bills providing additional income through squeezing out more money without additional new taxes. We have the ability to lower the expenses for particularly public education, and we're still working on some of the issues for our nursing homes. So this is the beginning of the process. We still have 2 months to go, and this time, I'd be happy to take some questions.
Could you maybe get some more specifics about the bills and process? Are they basically trying to find extra savings out of state agencies?
Well, particularly like, in public ed, Chairman Eisner has two bills, House Bill 400 and 500, both have ways of reducing expenses for our schools. I've been telling the school districts in my district back home for months, leading into this session, there's not going to be additional money for education. But there's two parts of an income statement. There's the income and there's the expenses. So if we can help them on the expenses,